Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer, joined by San Gabriel Valley Tribune Prep Sports editor Fred J. Robledo. Freddie, we're talking about a big one taking place, where else but Kiefer Stadium on Friday night at Bishop Amat. Servite, the Friars, come to town to take on the Lancers. Right. What a way to start the year if you're Bishop Amat.
Yeah, you got Koa Haynes' first big game at quarterback. Hey, look, last year they had to play that game and they had to travel down the road, and I thought, you know, that was a tough thing to do, to have to go down there and take on Servite at home. You got to feel like, Aram, they feel a lot better about their chances being at home at Kiefer on opening night. The energy of that crowd, playing a team before either team has had a chance to play anybody, to kind of see what teams are doing. I know Amat just had a scrimmage recently that the Servite coaches were down there. They're filming last week at Harvard Westlake. So they're in tune. You know, they're getting ready for Amat, and this is a new day for Amat. You don't, you know, Rio Ruiz, the quarterback, is gone. They lost their big horse in the backfield in Jalen Moore. And you got the debut of Deonze Blue. I mean, who has looked fantastic from everything that we hear in scrimmages and practice. I mean, he's just gone on some great big runs, and he's been that guy as a freshman that they've been talking about. And the one thing that I do like about Bishop Amat, what they have coming back, which is going to keep them in a lot of games and give them a lot of chances at Aram, is this might be the best defense they've had since Steve Haggerty's been there. He's very high in this group. They really get after it. They've done good in scrimmages so far, and if there's anything they're going to be able to hang their hat on, and they've always been able to hang their hat on, it's defense. The offense is something, right now, Blue is going to have to be a monster for him, because at quarterback, Koa Haynes, he's still feeling the offense out. I don't know how much he's going to throw the ball. I think he's more of a threat with his legs than Rio Ruiz was, but all that remains to be seen. I mean, this is a very, very tough team to open up with in week one.
Yeah, it is, but we've seen now, Fred, in the Haggerty era, that Kiefer can be a very dangerous place for big underdogs, or excuse me, for big favorites to come into, and Servite is just that in the minds of everyone, a big favorite coming into this game. But Amat has proven in the past, though, that they can upset this type of team when they're at home. You know, the good news for Amat is that while there's a little bit of a rebuild or a reload going on there's also one going on at Servite. Yeah. They have a lot of guys to replace now. The question is, whose underneath talent do you feel more confident about? You know, Servite, who has now proven itself over the past, decade or so, as one of the top programs in SoCal, or Amat's, which has been kind of struggling. I think that's why people kind of feel like Servite is the much better bet to reload. Yeah,
and I was at that game last year, and the big thing that I took away with it was how easy Servite was able to move the ball up and down the field. Big chunks of yardage at a time. They had that big quarterback who was just too much for him, whether he was throwing the ball or running the ball. Right. And it seemed like every time they ran the ball, Aram, it was 10 yards here, 12 yards here, they'd break a big one. And Amat struggled for every yard it got. Rio was able to throw a couple deep passes to keep him in that game early, but consistently they couldn't run the football. And that could be the difference as opposed to playing on the road and playing at home. And if Blue has a pretty good game and they're able to manage the game a little bit, just, move the chains a little at a time and keep that Servite offense off the field, I think they're going to have a chance to stay in it for long stretches. But it's hard to imagine that so much has changed. I mean, last year they beat them so thoroughly. I mean, that 49-14, I came away thinking the game wasn't even that close. And granted, it's going to be home this year, and you said both teams, are reloading in a sense. But God, it's really hard to in my head after watching that game last year, really see a way that Amat's going to beat him. But like you said, it seems like every year Amat has that one game in them, that one game where they kind of shock everyone. You've seen it before. Last year they didn't really have that one big shock 'em game. Maybe they're due for it this time. I just don't know. That's a tough spot to be in. It always is playing Servite, because they're one of the top 2, 3, 4 teams every year in the Southland right now.
You mentioned that they had a big quarterback last year in Cody Pittman. This year, it's big running back, and that's Salisi Ateaki. Good luck to Amat stopping this guy. He's a beast. He's going to be playing on Saturdays next year. But what I do think helps Amat a little bit is the fact that Amat, and this is a pretty good formula to follow, they're a good running team and a good defensive team. When you can run the ball and you can play defense, that helps you quite a bit.
And they got great receivers, too. You got Darren Andrews back, and that's the one thing. If you can run the ball and you have great receivers, everything...
Cook with that great height.
And Cook, he's like, what is he, 6'5"?
6'4" or something, yeah. He's like a Gilchrist.
When you've got those receivers and you've got a running back blue you think can move the ball, that's a good start for Koa Haynes.
They're going to have to be perfect, Fred.
Again, yeah.
I
think it's all going to start up here for Koa. I think once he has that game, and I've always seen that with a quarterback, once you have that game where it just clicks in and you feel like you got it, those guys can be dangerous. I think he has all the tools in the world. I just think it's up here. And when it clicks and he gets that confidence, I think Amat can really get rolling. Because I think everywhere else, they're looking pretty good. Better than I thought after some of these recent practices and scrimmage. I wasn't too sure. But I think they've shown in these last few weeks that, again, they're going to be something to reckon with.
All right, so what's your pick here?
Last year it was 49-14. I think it would be too much of a homer to pick Amat, even though they're at home. But I think it's going to be a much closer game. Won't be shocked if this game goes in the fourth quarter and they have a chance. But I think, Amat, I think, is probably going to lose 3, maybe 4 games this year, and this is going to be one of them.
So Charter Oak, Chino
Hills.
No,
not Charter Oak, and not Chino Hills. Those aren't the teams.
So you say. Okay, so you're picking Servite, but not by as big a margin.
But yeah, I think it's going to be inside 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Amat needs to absolutely be perfect here, no mistakes, and they usually can fire that kind of performance. They are a very good team as far as not shooting themselves in the foot.
The start is absolutely critical.
Yeah, the start's critical, and Deonze Blue having a big game. I'm really high on this kid, Fred. I have been for the last 3 years. I think that he's going to be one of the top weapons in the Pac-5 this year. They're going to need a huge night from him. But in the end, I just think that Servite's probably going to pull away in this one. I don't think it'll be like last year, but I'm thinking like 28-14, something like that in Servite's favor. But get out there because you never know what can happen at Kiefer. It's a magical place. And if Amat pulls this upset off, you're going to want to say that you were there. That is Friday night. Freddie will be there. I won't. But Tommy Kiss will be out there.
Mike the Cousin's going to be in there.
Mike the Cousin will be out there. I'll be following him from the game I'm at. This is Servite coming to town to play Bishop Amat. What a great way to kick off the season. Get out there, everyone, and enjoy it.